Okay guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be ranking every new item from Chapter 5, Season 4. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, first up, we have the Captain America shield. Now, this thing has gotten a lot of nerfs throughout the season, but it still is insanely broken. Like, trying to fight someone that spams this weapon is just so difficult and so annoying. It does 50 damage and homes if you're close enough, if you throw the target close enough, and it also bounces off of objects for a certain amount of time. But it's just an annoying weapon to fight against, so I'm going to have to put it in F tier. Now we have the Doctor Doom's Arcane Gauntlets. Now, this thing is really fun to use. I mean, the Mystical Bomb, you're almost guaranteed to hit that if someone does not use a jetpack to fly above it. And the Arcane Blast does 50 damage and is decently easy to hit. But it does have a cooldown if you spam it too much, kind of like the minigun where it needs to recharge. So for that, I'm going to put it in A tier, not S tier worthy, but it's pretty good. Now we have Doom's Siphon Medallion. This one is a medallion that we've already seen with the Hades medallion, I'm pretty sure, where you would kill someone and it would give you 50 siphon on health or shield. It's pretty good. It marks your location like every other medallion, but I still think it's worthy of A tier. But below Doom's Arcane Gauntlets, but still good. Dual Micro SMGs. This weapon is stupid broken. Like, this is one of the best SMGs I've seen the entire chapter. It's better than the Hyper SMG. The only issue is that you pretty much have to reload this thing every like 2 seconds due to how fast it fires. In fact, it only has 32 bullets in its magazine and it shoots like 18 every second. So for that reason, I'm going to put in B tier. It's good, but not good enough. Wrath Medallion. Okay, this thing is like a worse version of Artemis's medallion, of Artemis, is reveal. It pretty much does the same thing, except only with players. Pretty much, it scans around you in like a 50-meter radius, and it will highlight any players or hostile NPCs or anyone like that nearby. That's pretty much the only gimmick about this thing. It also reveals your location just like every other medallion. But it's really good for fighting S tier. Now we have the Monarch Pistol. This thing is interesting because it's like the only sniper type weapon we have this season. But it uses mini ammo, which is really good because it's so easy to get these things this season, or any season for that matter. It does more damage if you're aiming down sights, so it benefits that you have like a scope or something like that. It also, the bullet drop off is much less than any other weapons, so pretty much for short to medium distance, as long as you're aiming on the person, you're going to hit it. On longer distances, you might need to aim a little higher, but it's not anything crazy. So I'm going to put this thing in S tier because it's really nice. Mysterio's Cloaking Medallion. This thing, it got a lot of backlash. I think they might have buffed it a little bit, but this thing is still, in my opinion, a nice medallion due to being able to sneak up on players and stuff like bunkers and stuff like that. And if you're in duos, it can be really good paired with shockwaves because then your teammate could go somewhere, but they aren't expecting you to be right behind them, so like you can just unreveal yourself and kill people. I think it deserves B tier on this one. Sovereign Shotgun. This thing is similar to the Gatekeeper, but it's a little better in my opinion. It has higher body shot and higher headshot with a slightly slower shooting speed. It also has the mythic version, which is Mysterio's. You were not supposed it has a very like the spread is very high, so it benefits you using close range. The spread does become quite smaller if you're aiming down sights, but it also reduces the fire rate a lot. but it's also a really nice shotgun to use. It's pretty easy to get your hands on. So I'm going to have to put this in high A tier, above everything else. Striker Burst. This thing has gotten nerfed this season, but it's still a good weapon. This thing is probably the easiest to land hits on due to the fact that it has a less bullet drop off, faster bullet speed, and also it's really good when paired with like the red eye scope or the hollow optic scope. As pretty much it's stupid easy to hit at least one shot with this thing. It also has a pretty high bullet like magazine, so like you can shoot this thing a lot. So for that reason, gonna put it in A tier. War Machine's Arsenal. Now, this thing this thing has gotten nerfed quite a bit, especially its missile attack, but in not the way that you would think. It hasn't gotten nerfed in damage, but it's gotten nerfed in how fast it recharges. It's also gotten nerfed in structure damage, so you do a lot less damage to structures, which is a good thing because you could just destroy you could destroy builds really easily when this thing came out by just spamming War Machine. It was broken, but now it's a mid weapon, low B tier. Auto turret. Now this thing, it doesn't do much damage, but the thing that it's good for is finding people. Like this thing locks onto targets when it's like in like a 20-meter radius, which is really good because then you just follow where it's shooting and boom, now you know where someone is. And you might not even be able to see them. It does do low damage and most people don't really carry this item. So I'm gonna have to put it in D tier. But it's still pretty good. War Machine's hovercraft. This thing is like the only form of movement we have this season. And for that reason, I'm going to have to put it in high A tier. It's not S tier worthy because it isn't super fast. I know there is sweaty ways to make this thing really fast, but like I'm just not that sweaty, so I'm going to put it in A tier. You could put it in S tier if you like know how to like move it, but it's going to be an A tier for me. Anyways, that was the Fortnite tier list. Feel free to critique me. Thank you. See you in the next video.